You've finished building your site in Dreamweaver and are ready to go live in the real world. But before uploading your files to your remote web server, you should run some checks on the site to make sure there are no glaring mistakes. One of the first checks that you can make is to check the spelling. To do that, go to the Commands menu and check spelling. The keyboard shortcut is the same on Windows and Mac, it's Shift F7. And this opens a typical spell checker. If it finds a word that it doesn't recognize, it makes suggestions. You can ignore, change, ignore all, or change all, or you can add it to your personal dictionary. This works in exactly the same way as any other spell checker, so I don't think there's any need to explain any further. So I'm just going to click close. The one thing about Dreamweaver's spell checker that is a bit disappointing is that it will only work on the current page. You can't check the whole site. However, you can run a lot of web-related reports on the whole site. Go to the Site menu and select Reports. And this opens this dialog box. The first option up here is whether you want to report on the current document, the entire current local site, selected files in site, or a particular folder. I'm going to select entire current local site. This workflow section lets you run reports on whether a file has been checked out by a particular person or if you want to look for files that have been recently modified. We haven't covered check-in, check-out in this course or design notes, but if you select recently modified, you can then select this button here for report settings. And this allows you to select files that have been created or modified in the last however many days. The default is 7. Or you can actually select particular dates. Normally you would select local machine. Testing server is only if you've been using a server-side technology such as PHP or Cold Fusion. I'm going to click cancel there, and I'm not actually going to do a report on recently modified files. These HTML reports allow you to check for all these various things. Font tags have not been used for a long time, so you're unlikely to want to use that, but missing alternate text, that's quite useful, so select that. Redundant nested tags, if tags are empty and you don't actually need them, it will find them. Removable empty tags, that's also quite useful, and untitled documents. This last one is very useful because it will find out if you've left a file in there with the default untitled document in the title. So let's run that. And in fact it has found one. I deliberately created a file with untitled document in there. So if I double click that, it will open that file and show me the untitled document. So running that site report alone can save you a lot of embarrassment. Now if that site report had found other problems, they would be listed here, but obviously there are no other problems, which is great. One other report that's worthwhile running is Site and then check links site-wide. The keyboard shortcut on Windows is Ctrl F8, on a Mac it's Command F8. So if we select that, it then runs the link checker and we get a list down here of broken links. Now this is rather strange here. It reckons that there's a broken link inside this JavaScript file. There isn't a broken link inside there. It has just recognized this A in there and it's regarded that as being a link. So that's something which we'll have to ignore. Then if we can open that, you get a list of all the external links, and if you want to change one of those, you can click inside there and replace it. And then finally in the link checker you can check for orphaned files. These are files that don't have any incoming links. This isn't always the most useful of reports because files are often loaded dynamically. These files, for example, are all part of a slideshow that I created in Edge Animate, and they're not directly linked to any web page. So to close this panel, right-click at the top and select Close Tab Group. So we've looked at 3 types of checks you can do on your website before uploading your pages. Spell checking, running site reports for missing alternate text and untitled documents, and checking links site-wide.